citizens of our beautiful city, Tikal. This is Emily Paredes reporting to you from the TV station Views. I will be covering the latest news of all that is happening between our neighboring cities. We have been notified that the calendar the priests have been working on for so long have finally been completed. With the help of mathematicians and astronomers, the calendars have been made to accurately measure time for civil and religious purposes. Hopefully, this will allow us to keep better track of important dates. Speaking of which, the annual meeting of the representatives from the most powerful Mayan cities will be taking place in a few sunrises. They will be traveling to our beautiful city to discuss the wealth, power, and other small problems in our rising Mayan empire. The weather seems to be favorable for this trip, but we will get more accurate information on that from our weather forecast.
Thank you, Emily. Well, Kinichahao has been most pleased with us for these past few days, rewarding us with warm weather and clear skies. No dark clouds have come into our skies, so we will not be receiving visits from Shak in the next few sunrises. So the traveling representatives will have no worries about any rains. However, in the sunrises after, we hopefully have visits from the rain god, because the planting season will be starting and we will need the rains to have bountiful crops to feed our growing city. That is all for the weather. We will be going back to you, Emily.
Thank you for that wonderful report, Raquel. The gods are indeed blessing us for our many sacrifices. Special thanks for the priests who always make sure the gods are satisfied. And hopefully the farmers finish the projects they have started before Chak shows his pleasure. Many times, floods from our rivers have caused losses in the yield from the crops planted near their shores. Farmers have been working for many planting cycles now, trying to find a way to fix this problem. And they believe they have the answer now. Raised fields along the banks of the rivers will lift crops up above the floodwaters. If this design proves to be successful, then we will see an increase in the yield of the crops in the coming years. Now let us hear what Luis has to say about the recent game.
Yes, thank you, Emily. Hopefully that increase in crop income will help us have better players and therefore more wins. Last night, our Quetzales lost another game against our rival team, Scorpions, from Calakmul. The first half of the game gave us hope and showed promise, and Quetzales quickly gained a 5-point lead. However, during the second half of the games, the tables were totally and completely turned, and the lead plus another 5 points were lost, ending the game with a loss for the Quetzales 5-10. Hopefully the next game will have a better outcome than this one, so the players better start preparing because the next game will be much sooner than they thought.
Indeed, Luis, a game will be scheduled in honor of the visiting representatives of the powerful Mayan cities, which means they have about 3 sunrises, if the gods are gracious, to sharpen and perfect their skills, because anything less than a win will bring disgrace to our powerful city, and that would not be acceptable. The consequences could be tragic. On a happier tone, we will be moving over to Rachel.
It is time to reveal the Mayan of the week. For this week, the farmer that came up with the idea was honored with this mention. The work that he has done for our city through his idea will certainly be a blessing to every citizen. We also have the Stella of the week. This week, the chosen Stella was obviously influenced by the coming planting season. The detail and exquisite carvings show Itsamana, Shak, and Kinichiawa. Working together to make a new life in this season of growth and birth. The Stella was made by a family of artisans that are greatly known for their other exquisite works of art. The Stella has been sold to the priest, and it will most likely be consecrated as a gift for all the gods. That is all for this section of the news. Back to you, Emily.
Thank you, Rachel. Now we will go to Raquel, who will give us more news on the weather and transit, so we may be prepared for the next few days. Raquel, what is the forecast for today?
As I mentioned earlier, Kinichahao has been pleased and will be granting us another day of good weather and sunshine. No visits of Shak will be happening the next few days. But after that, finding cover from the rain would be wise. As for the merchant movement, roads into the city have become crowded with caravans eager to find a place to trade, and people from other cities are also traveling to the city to see the important event that will be happening in 2 days. Not a single person wants to miss grand festivities that will be hosted in honor of visiting representatives. The streets in the city will also be crowded and moving slowly, so anyone who has important business to attend to in the city should start moving a lot earlier than planned, because the movement will be slow. That is all for the weather and transit. Back to you, Emily.
Thank you, Raquel, for the report. This concludes the news broadcast for today. Thank you for tuning in and watching Views. We will see you tomorrow in another broadcast at 2 p.m. sharp.